I feel like it's kind of weird if I cut off his little butt. I'm Dan Langan and I can make anything out of cake. Every week, Food Network challenges me to a brand new cake baking challenge that I just fell off. It's pissed. This is Dan Can Bake It. I've got this week's challenge clue right inside this box here. I'm gonna open it up and see what's inside. It's a teddy bear dressed in a sports outfit and a dog bowl and a football trophy. I'm stumped, I gotta read this clue. Build a dog-shaped cake to celebrate the Puppy Bowl. Oh, okay. Puppy Bowl is like a sports-themed little dog show, I guess. So I don't normally go to Super Bowl parties, but I would definitely go to a Puppy Bowl party. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm gonna hang out, grab my sketchbook, take a look at all these things and see what I can come up with for this realistic dog cake. What I'm gonna do is create this incredible football field cake board, this really adorable little puppy cake, modeling chocolate for the spots and cute little ears, and then top the whole thing off with a sculpted football cake. So the very first thing I wanna do is get started on my football for this cake. I had my friends in the kitchen stack 2 6-inch cakes for me and fill them with some buttercream. I just wanna mark off 2 spots of where that point is going to be, connect those 2 ends together using the cake board just as a guide to make like a little template. First thing I'm gonna do is just take off chunks, still following that line that I made. Now that there's a lot less cake, I'll go back and really refine that shape, carve off just a little bit from the top. And now I have to round the whole thing off this way, just to give it kind of that rounded half football shape. I'm only going for a football that's like half size. I'm gonna shorten this a little bit just by cutting off the bottom, maybe like 1/2 inch of cake. Put a little bit of this buttercream right on top and then I'll just spread it smooth. So I'm gonna pop this in the fridge, let it get nice and cold before I give it a final coat of buttercream. I've got my football cake, it's ready for some fondant. So I have some chocolate brown fondant here. So I'll give this a good knead until it's nice and stretchy. Tuck all of those wrinkly ends under. Some cornstarch down on my table. I'll start rolling it out. So I'll give this a smooth. Then what I'll do is just give my cake a mist with a little bit of vodka, just so that the fondant sticks to the cake. So I'll just pick this whole thing up, just like this, right over the top, and then I'll push the fondant in towards the base. So I'll just trace around kind of the shape of the cake here with this tool, and then I'll go back and actually make my cut. This extra fondant right here, I'm just gonna tuck it under the cake. I really like doing this. It looks really seamless, kind of like the football kind of continues under. Grab something flat. Just want a nice guide to draw a straight line. These are gonna be the laces for the football. Just gonna put some piping gel straight down the back of this. So I'll press that into place. And then I'm gonna take a ball tool. Typically use it for making sugar flowers, but I like to use it to kind of push the laces into the football. So now I have my shorter little lace pieces. Put some piping gel just on the center portion. I'll kind of map it all out first. Center point that has the piping gel, I'll just press that into place. And then I'll take my ball tool, I'll hold the center and then push in each tip. I'm just gonna brush off this extra cornstarch and my football is gonna be ready for my cake board. So I had my team stack, fill, and crumb coat this dog body for me. And what they did was take an 8-inch hemisphere cake for the back and then a 6-inch hemisphere cake for the dog's head. And then they took some cake pop mixture or just like cake scraps and buttercream to mold these 2 legs. So you have the hind legs and the front legs. The whole thing has a crumb coat. So what I'm gonna do to smooth this buttercream out is actually just put some gloves on and then I'll mist the cake. The vodka just helps cake be a little bit more slippery. It's really hard to get it perfectly smooth just using a tool or like a piece of acetate. I think the best thing to do is just chill the cake so the butter hardens up so it's easy to smooth everything out. And I'll grab my fondant. So I'll put some shortening on my hands. I actually like to just pop the whole thing in the microwave for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds just to really soften it up. So I'll scoop all the wrinkles towards the underside. I'll grab some cornstarch. I wanna see if I can roll this out without any cornstarch on the top, just so it stays nice and flexible. I think I'm looking for probably like a big oval. So I've got a sewing needle here. Pop these big air bubbles. I'm just gonna roll this whole thing up. I'll brush off any of this excess cornstarch as I'm rolling it up. I'll grab my cake. I'll give myself a little bit of extra right behind the dog's butt, and then I wanna just push the air out from the top of the dog. Push the air out around the hind legs. What I wanna do, grab my fondant smoother, kind of push the fondant in towards the cake. Go back around with my sculpting tool. I'm just gonna push the tool towards the base of the cake. So I'll kind of give it a push, and then I'll cut the extra fondant away. So I'll just get rid of this extra. Grab my sculpting tool here. Just really define this back hind leg portion all the way from the base of the cake all the way up. So what I wanna do is just take my scraps. I just knead the fondant until it's nice and smooth so I have a nice flat kind of buffed end. And then I'll just go over this whole cake. Gets rid of any marks that my hands made or my fingers made. Just kind of buff the whole thing out. I definitely need some features to make this cake really look like a dog. So I'm gonna make a tail, some ears, some spots. I'm gonna get started working on all that. So I'll let this sit in place. I won't actually attach it. A couple little whisker marks. Add the nose. All right, those eyes look good. So this is definitely looking more like a dog, and now what I think I need to do is think about the ears. I've used fondant for most of this cake, but I think I want to use some modeling chocolate, and I have some teardrop cutters, which I'll use for the ears. That's definitely too small. I know that's definitely too big. I think this is a good size. I'll cut them, and then I'll, just see how they look. So I'll save this just in case. And then I'll just kind of soften this edge a little bit, and then I'll just cut off this top point. Now I kind of feel like they look too small. That's fine, I saved these scraps, so I'll just roll it thinner, and I'll cut more. Take just a little bit of piping gel. Perfect. I want to give my dog some spots, so I'll use the same brown modeling chocolate so it matches the ears. Take my craft knife and just kind of free form, cut some little circle-y things. I'm actually going to use shortening to attach the spots to this dog. The shortening will let me pick it up and move it to a different spot. If I were to use like water or piping gel, something like that, it'd pretty much be stuck. So I'll press that into place and then I'll kind of soften the edge. I don't have a puppy, but I always thought that if I got one, I would name it Croissant. So I'm gonna make some paws for the front of my puppy cake. Starting with 2 equal-sized balls of fondant, kind of roll them as tightly as I can so they don't have a seam to them. Do dogs have 3 fingers or 4 fingers? Double time. This actually makes me think of the puppy I had when I was younger. He was named Little Wayne. He was a pit bull, and people always thought he was scary, but he actually wasn't. He used to let my sister and I paint his fingernails. He was a cool guy. So I'll do 2 more for the back. This guy is looking awesome. I'm gonna get ready to put my puppy cake on my football field board along with my football, set the whole scene, it's gonna be great. So my kitchen team made this incredible football field cake board for me, and what they did was cover a cake board with some green ganache, pressed some green sanding sugar into it. They cut out some dog bones out of white fondant, and then they also cut these numbers out of fondant. So my puppy cake is nice and chilled. Before I move the whole puppy, is just move these paws. I press them into place just so the pieces could kind of mold into each other and take shape. The tail, I'll take that off the back. And then I'm gonna move my dog, place it right on the board. So now that this is in place, I'm gonna grab some piping gel, a paintbrush, and I can reattach all of these pieces that I just took off. So first I'll attach his nose, paws, and then I'll attach his little tail. So I've got my football cake. It's actually really nice and cold now, so I'm just gonna really quickly flip it off the board. I wanna add some buttercream to make it sticky. That looks so awesome. I love it. Puppy cake came together, got this awesome little football right here. This board that the back kitchen created just sets the entire thing off. So awesome. So Food Network challenged me to create a puppy cake to celebrate the puppy bowl. So I created this little doggy cake and then topped the whole thing off with a sculpted football cake. Normally I'm really excited to cut into these cakes, but this guy just looks so cute, I don't want to cut it. But I know I have to because I want to get a slice, I want a taste of it. So do I cut off? I feel like it's kind of weird if I cut off his little butt. Maybe I'll just like cut a leg. It's like carving a turkey. So I'll just cut straight down, see how nice of a slice I get. Then I'll just go in this way. This was a little nicer than cutting its head off, I think. Oh yeah. Right into the dog bowl, perfect spot. Best puppy cake I've ever tasted. You guys want to see more awesome cakes like this little fella? Subscribe to Food Network's YouTube channel.